Yeah, let's get started, shall we? Here's the word caution. My next door neighbor on Sunday night, I saw her walking out with a cane, but I went over to talk to her, and she was complaining about pain in the center of her thigh. No place else, just right in there. Very, very strange. I'm a longtime jock, master's in health education. Spent a lot of time in physical fitness and athletes over the years, coaching and things like that. Having an isolated pain in the thigh for no apparent reason. She didn't bump it. She didn't strain it. She wasn't running. She wasn't jumping. Just pain right there. Debilitating pain, meaning she had to walk with a cane. So 3 hours later, I see an ambulance pull up to her house, and they put her in an ambulance and take her away to the hospital. Of course, she spends the night at the hospital. They're running all sorts of tests, every test I think of, and they're ruling out things. And the first thing they ruled out was my big fear when I talked to her was that she's got a blood clot. I thought that's going to be the issue. Well, they ruled that out. They ruled out everything, and they were left with lack of hydration. They were drinking it on. What do you drink for breakfast, Sue? Oh, about 4 ounces of orange juice. That's it? Yeah. You drink coffee or tea over the course of the day? No. What do you drink? Water. Not enough. Obviously. So even in weather like this, when it's not hot out, right? It's very dry out. Breathing and talking, you use a lot of moisture. Make sure you're drinking right. We'll start in the morning, right until you go to bed at night. Because otherwise, bad things can happen to you. And spending the night in OR and overnight in the hospital, it's not a good thing to do.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Okay, so the diagonal.
That's perfect.
Okay.
That's perfect. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Give me a hand, folks. Give me a hand. Give me a hand. Gonna go drink my water. All right, so takeout today. 3 keys of movement. I'll go over that in a minute. Show and tell today is Yang Sheng. And I have a handout on Yang Sheng. Not only are you learning Tai Chi, but you're also learning Chinese language skills here as well. Yang Sheng stands for sort of a holistic take on one's health from the Chinese perspective. And they identify 5 different domains that you should be aware of, and you're striving for balance in all 5 of those domains. Now, those domains are, let me see if I can remember them: exercise, rest, diet, spirit, and this one. Come on over. Exercise, rest, spirit, social, and diet. Yeah. Now, the only one that Tai Chi Qigong does not impact directly is diet. But if you take this handout, like I said with my handouts, you want to put it in a folder, and sometime in the future you can take that folder out and say, "Oh, he had a pretty good idea about that. Yeah, this makes some sense here," and you can see how this holistic view of our health we can impact it in a positive way. This appears to be simplistic, but it's not. What they're asking you to do is pay attention and find balance in each of the domains so that negative energy does not enter the body. A traditional Chinese medicine talks a lot about positive and negative energy. And if conditions are right, negative energy enters the body and causes problems, disease. Okay. On the other hand, if you've got plenty of positive energy, you can push that negative away and it'll not affect you. So Yang Sheng, exercise, rest, spirit, social, diet. Exercise through appropriate movement and breath. Slow, soft, smooth movements with deep breathing. Sounds like Tai Chi. Rest through meditation, relaxation, and breath. Deep breathing with meditation. Not only rest, but also can give you a lot more energy. Spirit. Through achieving a regular and frequent attention, doing something positive over a long period of time lifts our spirits individually. And then social. The social aspect of class, before, after, and during class. You meet with people, you talk a little bit, you know, you have to extend out from your confines a little bit each time you come to class. Science has identified the social aspect of classes like Tai Chi and Qigong to be extremely important. It fights isolation, and isolation carries with it a whole bunch of negative things. So you want to be very careful about that. So coming to class like this, for some people, it might be the only time they mix with people over the course of that particular day. That's an important aspect. So Yang Shin, a holistic approach for health, and it's put in your hands, not some specialist hands, but in your hands. You pay attention to what's going on, and you try to find balance in each one of those 5 domains, and your health will gradually improve. That's the reason why I'm talking about so many different things like Chinese iron balls and tea and eating for seasons and footwear and all sorts of things like that that are not directly related to what I'm teaching in class here. So Yang Shin, a holistic approach. Questions? Yeah.
Just a comment, my wife Mary over there, and I watched a video a couple of years ago, called, I think, a documentary on the so-called moon zones areas of the world, where people live really long, and it basically kind of was.
They're doing the same thing, they're covering those 5 domains, but not perhaps in the same way that the Chinese do.
Yeah, but, yeah.
So there's a good handout today with that. Now, the other handouts I have over there all relate to Tai Chi to one way or the other. I can't keep straight whether or not I brought them out before. I've got 5 different classes now, and they're all over the place. Some of them are 3 classes in, some are 2 classes in, some are 5 classes in, like you guys. They're all over the place, so I can't keep track. So if I bring out stuff that you've already seen, don't grab it unless you want another copy. But on the other hand, check over there and make sure that you've got what I've already put out. All right. The takeout for today is movement, which is a subject that's very close to my heart. Many years ago, many decades ago, I was a student at Springfield College, physical education major, and there was a movement education strain that was sweeping the country, starting in, of all places, California, and going to the East Coast. And I got involved in the movement education movement. And I was lucky enough to do student teaching in a school system in Connecticut that had latched onto the movement education in a big way. They had a very sympathetic principal and PE staff, and they really did a great job of teaching it and allowing me to spread my wings within that movement education confine. After I got out of the Army a few years later, I tried to find more input on movement education, and it sort of petered out. Never really went anyplace, or went deeper in. It wasn't being called that any longer. But movement was always a big thing with me. I got a dance background to a certain extent, martial arts background to a large extent, sports background in a number of sports. Movement's important. So I have come down with 3 keys to movement. And if you keep these 3 keys in mind, any movement you do will be less forceful. You won't have to use as many muscles. You'll save a lot of energy. It'll be easier to do, and you'll avoid a lot of injuries. What I'm talking about is, think about pushing something that's really heavy. The 3 things you need to do is 1, sink. Because when you bend your knees, you're activating your ankles and your hips. And those 3 body parts now can help you move. If you lock your knees, your ankles and your hips can't help you move very much at all. But if you bend your knees, you're in control. So the first thing is you want to sink. The second thing is you want to shift your weight from one ankle to the other. And the third thing is you want to turn. So if I'm going to move this heavy box here, I'm going to sink, shift, and turn. And I'm going to move that box really easily. Really easily. Now, it's not just moving things, pushing things, but it's also absorbing force as well. You got a grandkid that's 8 or 9 years old who weighs 90 pounds. He's a pretty big kid for a little one. Comes running up to you. And he's going to grab you and give you a hug. And you don't want to get bowled over, standing there like this and have an 80-pound runner into your waist and get knocked over. So what do? You do the same thing. You sink, you shift, and you turn. Hey, Jimmy, if you fall down, let me help you up. A dog, a neighbor's dog, big, goofy type of animal, likes to jump on people, sees you and gets all excited, it starts running towards you and starts to jump up on you. What do? You sink, you shift, and you turn. Hey, that's a good girl. Don't bother me again. It makes sense whether you're doing something. I have a stuck door on my deck, back in Western Massachusetts. That sagging a little bit. It got stuck. You can open the handle and push on it, but unless you push in the right direction, It wasn't gonna open easily. So if I'm standing up tall like this and I turn the doorknob and I push, where am I pushing? I'm pushing down there. It's not very effective. But on the other hand, if I sink first, and then I shift my weight from one end to the other and I push easily, the door opens like butter. So the three principles of movement are sink, shift, and turn. And if you keep that in mind, any movement that you have to do, it's probably going to be easier. It's probably going to be under more control. It's probably going to use less muscle power. And it's probably going to be a lot safer for you as well. So three keys of movement: sink, shift, and turn. And let me write those up here as well. Sink, shift your weight, and turn. You keep that in mind, and your movements will be a heck of a lot easier, heck of a lot softer, heck of a lot more control. Okay, how you doing? I heard that you were at appointment. I have a t-shirt for you as well, and I think I have a card for you as well. All right, so today we're going to continue with lift hands, brushing. We've been working on that. The second transition step in the form is called lift hands, or play the lute. Strum the lute. A lute is a three-string guitar in Chinese culture. So strumming the lute, playing a guitar, or lift hands are all the same word or same movement. So after brush knee, you're going to slide up, sit back, lift, 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 and drop. That's lift hands. Ah, boy. I made a mistake. Repulse monkey and lift hands. So lift hands after brushing is lift, 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 drop, push, reach back, and repulse monkey. So that's where we are for today. So let's get to that point. Let's start by doing some warm-ups. There's not a lot that I do for warm-ups here, but one of the things that I do is swim backwards. Notice I'm going from corner to corner, like you do in the form, turning your nose, sternum, and your belly button all together. 3 points, pointing is 1. Now go forward. Trying to loosen up the shoulder, collar area, which is an area that causes or carries a lot of tension in the body. Done. Second one I do is bend elbows here, come back in front, and then sweep the hands bigger circle or half circle. So it's inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Try to get a good stretch across the front of the shoulders, which is an area that we sort of ignore most of the time. And last. Good. Another one that I do, it's kind of strange. It's double fist in front of the chin with the elbows held high. I turn twice to the left, 1, 2, and twice to the right, 1, 2. Inhale, left, exhale, right. Now, most beginners start off and they don't like this and they think that going wider is better. No, it's not. Because when you go wider, your hips stop here and your shoulders and head continues over there. That's not a good thing for your spine. What I want you to do is get in the habit of moving 1, 2, 3 points as one. So you can only do that to a certain extent. You can only do it as far as your knee is, and as far as your knee is on the other side. So it's an inhale on the left, and exhale on the right. Bounce twice, bounce twice. Inhale left, exhale right. And last one. 2 more. Let's take 2 more. Turn your head left, turn your head right. Good. Now, there's a timing involved there. You want to turn your head, you want to hold it just enough so that you can focus on what you're facing and looking at. So here I've got two paintings that I can look at. So I'm going to turn to the left and I'm going to hold that until I focus on that painting. And then I'm going to turn to the right and hold that until I focus on the painting. As soon as I focus my vision on the painting, I'm going to turn back to square front. So it's an inhale, front, exhale, front. Inhale, front, exhale, front. Go as far as you can on both sides. So you might go past. And one more. And then once you're on that side, watch what I do. Twist, step out, and twist, and twist, and twist, and twist. This is the best thing you should be doing. This, you should always start your training session with this at least. This is a multi-stretching activity for every piece of soft and hard tissue from your earlobes down to your back pockets. This is an exquisite way of stretching out and working and warming up the entire spine. I usually do 10 of these. I don't do 10 of anything else. All right. Ocean wave breathing. I mentioned this before. On the National Qigong Association website, which is a website you should be familiar with, NQA, National Qigong Association website, has something called the 5 treasures. And the 5 treasures is a very simple warm-up Qigong set, a set of exercises that somebody thought was a good idea to put together because it opens up the body in certain ways. And the first exercise in this 5 treasures set is a breathing or a mindful breathing exercise called ocean wave breathing, which I've referenced before. You inhale as you go forward, weight the balls at your feet and lift up just slightly. Don't keep your heels on the ground. And then weight back to the heels and sit down a little bit. So it's a lift without leaving the ground. The upper torso is lifting, and then sit down as you sit back to your heels. Inhale going forward, and exhale going backwards. Now, I tell my students after 2 weeks of doing about 4 to 6 inches in front of their pockets, they should cut that distance in half. So I'm going to go 2 inches and then 2 inches back. And then after a week or two, I'm going to cut that again. I'm going to go 1 inch and then 1 inch back. But I'm still breathing the same pace. So it's going to take me a 4-second count to finish that 1 inch forward and 4 seconds to go 1 inch back, which is the same distance, or right, the same count, the same time that it took me to go 4 to 6 inches. So you're slowing down as you develop some awareness and skill here. And at some point, we're going to stop completely. Now I'm still moving internally, arching my spine, tucking my hips under. But you can't really see me move. But with the breath, I lift up, and with the exhale, I settle in. That is really close to standing perfectly still. And standing perfectly still and holding that position for a significant period of time and doing it frequently over the course of the week is one of the strongest things that I teach in class, in any class, Qigong and Tai Chi. So this is something that I want you to strive for long term. Getting comfortable being still, stilling your thinking, stilling your breathing, stilling your movement, being still. But it's hard to ask somebody who's always moving to be still. It's uncomfortable. It's painful in some regards, and it's not successful long term. But if I take somebody who's used to only moving and tell them, well, move a little bit like this. And what that movement does is it quiets down that voice that you hear on your shoulder or in your ears. Like, hey, I want to move. This doesn't feel good. Come on, move. Even if the movement is just a shift, that takes the pressure off those muscle bundles. But if you not move, and when you're perfectly still. Those muscle bundles give up the responsibility for holding you upright to other muscle bundles deeper in the muscle. So you get quicker, you get stronger very, very quickly if you don't shift your weight when your muscles bark at you. If you ignore the barking and just hold the position, which is very difficult to do without some intermediate work, that's really powerful. It stimulates your immune system right away. It stimulates your core muscles right away. It actually helps you with anxiety and stress, and it helps you with creative thinking as well as planning. So there's a lot of good reasons why you want to be still for an extended period of time and go back to that frequently over the course of the week. It's one of the hardest things to master in this class, but it's also one of the most powerful. So as I said before, if you want to work to stillness, move a little bit. And then a week or two later, move a little less. A week or two later, move almost none at all, just a little bit. And then when you step into it and you want to be perfectly still, that's doable at that point in time. Now, the thing that you want to do when you're in that position, when you're doing any of those from the start to the finish, is you want to count your exhales. The exhale is the letting go. The inhale, you get ready to do something, and it has tension inherent in it. But the exhale, let's go, and there's no tension there. So you want to focus your brain on only the exhales, on the letting go. And then in between the exhales, let your brain go wherever it wants to. But it's got to come back and count the next exhale. And after a period of time, you'd be surprised how easy it is to do that. Your mind can sort of take off. You can see birds going across your window if you're looking out a window, maybe a car going by. You don't want to track it with your head, but you can track it with your eyes. But you're going to find that going back and keeping count of your breath is actually pretty easy to do. And it's just enough to keep you in touch with what's going on internally. That it calms down your immune system, strengthens your immune system, and allows your mind to sort of, okay, I'm free, but I still gotta come. I'm free again, but I still gotta come. Keeps coming back to. That's an easy and a successful way of doing meditation long term. That technique, which comes from Qigong, beats any other technique that I've been exposed to. I've been exposed to almost everyone. Whether it's an image that you're supposed to hold in your mind, a flame getting brighter, then darker as you exhale, or an ocean crashing in on the inhale and then going back on the exhale. Whatever the image was, sometimes it's a sound, sometimes it's just music, sometimes it's talking you to focus in on something that's very complex. No, none of that is going to be successful long term. Count your breaths. That's all you need to do. It's very, very simple. And it starts with ocean wave breathing. And you get better at that, and you do less movement. And then you find yourself close to being still. And then it's a small step from close to being still to being still. And that is really very powerful. Strengthens your immune system, helps your brain, helps your feelings and anxiety and emotions, helps your core. Mental discipline is there. And it's an achievement as well to go to be able to tell yourself, what? I've done 4 weeks of this out. Feel like I have more energy, I'm sleeping better, I'm eating a little bit better, I'm thinking about things, I don't have as much stress. Continue, because that's exactly what's supposed to happen. And take it long term. And the best way to do that is to count your breaths and start with some movement and work towards very little movement. And then being still is a small step to that. Does that make sense? Spent a lot of time on that, but it's very important, key component of my Qigong and Tai Chi classes. I don't expect you to do this, but I do this a half hour a day, every day. I miss 2 days a week. There was a time a few years ago when I was doing it for an hour a day. I really like doing that, but I find it very hard to carve out an hour each day and just meditate. I can carve out 30 minutes pretty easily, but 60 minutes was a challenge. So I stepped back from that, and I'm telling my students, shoot for 20 minutes. and see how you feel. If you get to 20 minutes and you're happy about that, and you know some progress about your own health, well, maybe then you want to go to 30 minutes. But 20 minutes is a good starting point as well. You don't have to go farther than 20 minutes. If you get a good 20 minutes of meditation in every day, stillness in every day, it will do wonders for your overall health. Okay? All right, silk reeling activities. Picking apples. Pull down to the right, exhale, and reach high left, inhale. As you pass it, close down your lungs, exhale. And then as you open up and reach, there's an inhale. I do 5 of these. This is the second. And then here's the third. I'm shifting my weight, I'm turning, and I'm sinking and rising. Number 4. So the key components of movement are all built into this particular activity. That's 5. Sink down to the left, exhale, and reach high right, inhale. Exhale, and then inhale. Third time. Fourth time. Last time. Good. Now, if you recognize the 3 keys of movement in there, there's also something else in there. You're tracking your hand as it lifts and reaches for the apple. So that means that you're facing the hand the entire time with your nose, sternum, and your belly button. You're not sending the hand out by itself and letting it to hang out, whatever, do what it wants to. No, every time the hand moves, you follow it. Wherever it goes, you're following it. And that's a prime component of the Tai Chi form. You all have a dominant and non-dominant hand in the form. There's the dominant hand. So I got to follow and track that hand the entire time. And then I switch over to the other hand being dominant. And I'm tracking that hand the entire time. So that's a movement, added movement skill that you develop in the form. You track the dominant hand with the 3 points of your body: nose, sternum, and belly button. Wherever the dominant hand goes, you have to follow. That causes your hips and shoulders and your head to turn with that hand action. So we see that picking apples. And we also see it on out and in. Step to the left corner, lean out and reach, throw your hands out there. Sit back and pull your hands in. And as you pull in, get square and plumb to the front. Exhale going out and inhale coming back. Exhale going out and inhale coming back. 4th time. Last time. Withdraw. Same thing to the right side. Sink first. Step out. Throw out. Sit back. Exhale out. Inhale back. I only do 5 of these. When I train personally, I'll usually do 10, 15, or 20. But time is of the essence here. So I'm just showing you a variety of moves that you could do. Now there's another one called smoothing chi, which is very complex. And this one I join, my body joins a horse riding stance here and pulling my hands into the hips. I take my left hand and push it out to the right corner, tracking the hand, move it over to the left corner, tracking the hand, and then I pull it in, tracking the hand. And then it transfers to the other hand, out, over, and in. Now you notice as the hand goes and moves to one corner, I shift my weight, goes over to the other corner, I shift my weight, and I pull it in, I shift my weight. So there's 3 weight shifts on each cycle of the hand. Here's the other hand. Left hand goes out, over, and in. Exhale, out. More exhale, over, and inhale, in. So you're also working on breath control here. Exhale, out, exhale, over, and inhale, in. One more time, please. Smoothing chi. Good. All right, let's get into the form, shall we? We start with our feet relatively close together. We inhale, sink to the right, step out shoulder width apart with the left, get centered and sink even more as we merge heaven and earth. The opening sequence. A turn to the left corner and bring your right hand over to your left thigh, and then bring it straight up into your sternum area. Tuck your left hand underneath the right hand as you square up to the front again, and put more weight on your right leg, because you're immediately going to lift your left heel and turn your left heel in, which causes you to face the corner. It's called sit corner, that position. Sit corner. Party versus main. The first time you do this in your training session, there should be a little voice that says, oh, don't forget to protect your knee by doing that rotation on your heel. So as you step out back and to the side, and you shift your weight, and you turn your hips, turn your heel, turn on your heel, and rotate your toe to the front corner. Don't leave it there, facing front, the old front. It's got to come here and end up there. And in fact, most of the time in the form, about 80% of the form, when you finish a step or a movement, your legs are going to be in this position. One foot straight ahead and the other foot pointing to the corner. It may be on the other side. One foot straight ahead and the other foot to the corner. Now that's a good stable position. Allows you to do a lot of things from this position. And all we're doing here is sweeping the hand up in front of the heart and pressing down with the other hand in your pocket. Sit back to your heel and open up 10 degrees and flatten that hand above that foot. Walk in and catch. Then you set corner on the other side. You're ready to step with the right foot. And party versus main again. Sit back to the heel, open up 10 degrees and walk in and catch a third time. And the third step. Party versus main. The first transition in the form, the transition step, is by far the most complex, but the footwork is always the same. You're going to slide up the back foot and come close to the heel, if not touch the heel of the front foot. Sit your weight on the back foot and take a half step, a cat step with the front foot there, and then pull in, divide, and pry apart. That's stork spreads wings. Now you have to transition to brush knee, the next step in the form. You swipe the high hand down first, and then the low hand comes up and swipes also. And then you lift the back hand and take the full stride into brush knee. That's a twist, brush, a twist, a brush, and a press. Okay. Now the transition from one brush knee to the other is relatively simple. You sit back on the heel and open up 10 degrees. And as you go 10 degrees over there, that hand on the right is going to come right into the center of your body here. Well, you're going to open it a little bit more. And you want it to go past your ear. So I press and then I sit back and hold. And what I've done by opening with the hand here is I've guarded my face as I open. Now I walk to the center, return to center, and I lift the back hand. And then I step, twist, brush, and press. The second brush knee. I do the same thing, sit back to the heel and go past my ear. And then I return to center and lift, and then step for the third time. Okay. So I believe that's where we left off last night. So let's get there again. Every time I go through it, I'm going to give you less audio cues, allowing your brain to hear your own voice, not just me. So Bob, you're going to run into the outside here. Unless you back up a little bit. Back up, move that whole line back a little bit. Let's take it from the beginning first. Inhale, sink, touch, merge, midline, scoop, sit corner. Party versus main. 1, 2, 3. Store spreads wings, the first transition step. Lean up, reach, slide, pull in, sit back, half step. Divide, pry apart, and then swipe high, swipe low, full stride, and brush knee. 1. Sit back, pass your ear, return to center and lift. 2. Sit back, pass your ear, return to center and lift. 3. Good. Any questions about that? One more time, please, before I add something.
Sarah, can you take a video of you doing it?
Sure,
Thank you.
absolutely. Wherever you want to stand, wherever you want to get me from. You want to be up here? You want to be behind?
Behind.
Okay,
and
all
I'll-
right, you're more familiar with that, sure. Now, I have a website. You go on my website, media, click on the media, drops down 5 vid clips. One of them is the Tai Chi form.
Right.
One is silk grilling, one is back issues, one is other warm-up issues as well. Here we go. Inhale. Merge. Midline. Scoop. Sit corner. Begin. Party horses band. 1. 2. 3. First transition, store spreads wings. Lean reach, pull in, slide up. Divide, pry apart. Swipe 1, swipe 2. Lift the backhand, full stride, brush knee. 1. Pass your ear, return to center, lift. 2. Pass your ear, return to center, lift. 3, brush knee. That's where we are. The next move, folks, is another transition step. Slide up. Sit back. Half step. Lift the hand at the bottom. As the elbow comes near the other hand, lift that hand as well. And right after that, lift the knee. And then drop all 3. So it's 1, 2, 3. You catch one hand, the other hand, as the elbow passes it, that starts to move too. And just after both hands start to lift, you lift the knee. And then drop all 3 body parts plus your hips. Hold. Okay. Called lift hand or play guitar or strum lute. Various terms. And here's what it looks like from the front. So I come in and then I brush knee. And then I 1, 2, 3, drop. Brush in. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Good. That is the second transition. In comparison to that. That's pretty easy. Now, to get out of that, you got lift hands and then repulse monkey. Repulse monkey is an interesting term. I thought it was not a Chinese term, but it actually is a Chinese term, but it's also part of American culture as well. And if you deal with self-defense books or information at all, they talk about, being in a bar and somebody's doing a monkey dance and they want to, start a fight by doing the monkey dance. So this is the best way to deal with that. It's called repulse monkey. But it's actually a Chinese term as well. It has nothing to do with the modern image of somebody being in a bar and starting a fight. But repulse monkey means if you've got a crazy opponent and he's coming at you and attacking you, and you might grab and pull him in, and if you do, you might hit him. You might not grab him in at all, but you're usually splitting energy. So this energy coming in is going to equal the energy that's going out. Right? Repulse monkey. So after I do the 1, 2, 3 lift, I push up, out, and down. And I swing my right hand back to my back corner and I lift both hands in the leg. And then I step behind. I lift and I step behind. I lift and I step behind. And I lift and I step behind. 4 times. It's the only thing that happens 4 times in a row in the form. And you pull slowly. Now, if you got any memory at all, you recall what I talked about in terms of balancing. First thing about balancing is to put your nose over your big toe. Watch where that happens here. That's where it is. Nose over big toe. I'm balancing right here. And then I look front. I look to the corner to gain my balance. And then as I step back, I look to the front. I look to the corner to maintain my balance. My nose is over my toe. And then I look front as I step back and shift my weight. That's the correct way to do that in the motion. Again, nose over the big toe. Step 1 in covering your base. Step 2 is you bend it, you're already there. Step 3 is to focus on something. You're focusing dead ahead. So it meets all the criteria of good balancing. It gives you a chance to get your nose over your toe. Your knees already bent, so you're already sunk. And as you step back, you focus on the front. And your balance should be there very well. So let's do that again. Last brushing in. 3rd time. Slide up. Lift, lift, lift. 1, 2, 3. Drop. Hold. Push the hands up and then out and then down. And speed up the backhand so both hands lift at the same height and time. And then step behind. Face the corner until you step behind and face front. Face the corner until you step behind and face front. Face the corner until you step behind and face front for the 4th time. Questions? Nobody's got a question? You're also intimidated by me. All right, repulse mode. I don't want to get into the next move because the next move is very complex. I'll show you what it is. So after I repulse monkey 4 times, it's grasp sparrow's tail. And it's the meatiest part of the form. In fact, there are some Tai Chi students, sometimes teachers rather, that have stopped teaching the rest of the form and they teach only this. And they're saying, this is the essence of Tai Chi right here. Bruce Lee was a famous actor and a somewhat famous martial artist, but he was also a famous philosopher. And as his death continues to get farther and farther in a rearview mirror, more of his philosophy comes to the forefront. And I was a big fan of Bruce Lee right from the beginning. Bruce Lee's most famous philosophical statement is, find the essence. Find the essence of whatever you're looking at, whatever you want to accomplish. Find out what's really important and then follow that. And everything else is just dressing. It's just mumbo jumbo. It's just clutter. It's just decorations. It's not necessary. But find the essence and zero in on that. So Tai Chi instructors have taken that to a heart to a large extent. And what they're teaching is open press, roll back, close press, split roll back, and push. And they're saying that that movement, which is called grasp sparrow's tail, it's not up there, I erased it before. That's the next move I'm going to teach you next week, has all the essence of Tai Chi in it. And rather than spend a lot of time on the other steps and the other movements, no, focus in on that. That has all it needs. And in fact, they're saying that if you want to be a fighter, fighting's right there. open press, roll back, close press, split roll back. Here's how it works. Wow. Right here. Good. Face me. Good. Yeah, somewhere like this. Good. So this is my opponent, all right? If he's charging and doing something as well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do an open press. I wanna touch him. And in Tai Chi, what the open press means is when you touch someone, you don't wanna break that contact. You wanna maintain it because that touch is gonna give me some early warning about what he's planning to do. Because I can feel his muscles, I can feel his weight just by touching anywhere on his body. Doesn't matter what it is. I can touch him and gain from that, gain knowledge from that, right? So the first movement is an open press, which is a way of me touching. Now, if he's a smart opponent, he's gonna want to break that touch really quickly by moving backward or one to the side. He's not gonna come in, because if he comes in, start to come in, I can feel that right away and I can react faster than he can. Because I can feel it. When he starts to shift his weight from one foot to the other, he's double weighted now. But he's got to put all his weight on one foot before he can step forward. As soon as he starts to put his weight on one foot, go ahead, step forward. I already got it. I can feel it right there. I can feel it with my eyes closed. Right? So this is an attempt to do that. His only recourse is to step back. Step back. I know, yeah, good idea. So he's stepping back and that breaks it. I'm not gonna chase him. Because if I'm chasing him, who has the advantage? He does, exactly, because I'm moving into him and he can strike me. So I don't wanna chase him. I wanna try to get this, but if I can't get it, reach for me with one hand. I'll do that. That's the roll back. I grab, I sit back and I turn, and I put pressure on his joints. That's roll back. Doesn't matter what arm, you mean the other one. Do the same thing, come from behind. I'm still doing the same thing. I'm controlling him right there, and I can still strike if I have to, but he can't strike me with that hand. So touch doesn't work, roll back, I got him good. Now, if I got him good and I'm pulling him off his base, then my next move is a serious strike into his ribs. And the serious strike goes like this, or this, or this. And it's a two-handed strike, and it's designed to be extremely powerful and break something in here. Right, that's what this is designed to do. This is an attempt to listen. This is a rollback and a twist. This is a strike. And then he recovers from that, and he starts to reach over my arms. Okay, reach over my arm. Boom. Yeah. Boom.
Well,
Sit
why
back.
wouldn't he do the same and come under you?
He could, but he'd have to be trained in that. And if he's trained in that already, then I would have accounted for him already. But this is all predicated upon him coming towards me. So he's coming towards me. I come here, he backs up. I come back and I grab him and reach for him. I pull him in, and as he loses his balance, I strike him in the ribs and break a rib. He reaches over that and I knock him here, and then I push him away. So everything I just said is in open press, roll back, close press, split roll back, push. That is the fighting art of Tai Chi in a capsule. Look at it, thank you. And that's what it's designed to do. Now, this is very complex. I don't want to spend any more time on this in the next week's talk. But the important thing is that you're doing repulse monkey with balance. So you turn to the corner as you lift, and that gets your nose over your big toe. That should be easy. And then as you step back, you're in momentum, you can look forward and gaze at your opponent. And then as you lift, you look to the corner again. And then you step back and you look front. You look to the corner a third time and step back. You look to the corner a fourth time and lift and step back. And that is repulse monkey done 4 times. Let's see if we can get there from our starting position. I'm over here, I'm over here, I'm over here. Turn. No, you're not turning. All right. Inhale, sink, merge heaven and earth. midline. Scoop, sit corner. Harding versus Maine. Check your knee. 1. Sit back and hold. Walk in and catch. 2. Sit back and hold. Walk in and catch. 3. Stork spreads wings, slide up, lean out, reach, sit back, pull in, divide the arms, pry apart, sweep, or strike, and then full stride, brush knee. 1. Pass your ears, you open. Return to center and lift the back hand, then step. 2. Pass your ears, you open. Lift the back hand as you return to center and step. 3. Brush knee. Slide up, second transition, lift 1, 2, 3, and drop. Push up, out, and down, and reach back with the right hand and lift 3 body parts. Step behind, repulse 1, and lift again. Step behind, and lift the 3rd time. Step behind, and lift the 4th time. Step behind. Reload. Open press. Round the elbow, roll back. Close press. Split roll back. And push. And you do the same thing on the other side. All right, let's stop there. All right, questions about what I've taught so far? All right, let me go over this. Take out 3 keys of movement. Sink, shift, turn. Makes everything easier. Incoming force, outgoing force. Works every time. Think of a baseball player. Sink, shift, turn. Think of a baseball pitcher. Sink, shift, turn. They can generate over 100-mile-an-hour ball by doing both of those things. Yang Sheng, you're responsible for your own health to a certain extent, not just experts. There's 5 domains that we try to find balance within. Yang Sheng. Reform today was lift hands and repulse monkey. NQA, National Qigong Association 5 Treasures, has a Qigong set that starts with ocean wave breathing. And I spent a long time today talking about how ocean wave breathing can help you get to stillness meditation. And when you walk that journey and try to develop stillness meditation, you want to count your exhales. That's the way to be successful long term.
Is there a certain number count for an exhale? Is there a certain number count? Just 2, 1, 2.
200. We get to 200, you're doing well. You're probably close to 20 minutes at that point in time as well. If you choose to go to 300, that would be like going to 30 minutes. Okay.
Quick question about the whole, getting to the point of, meditating when you're walking. Is there any value to, standing still for meditating still? Let's say 2 minutes at a time, and after you've done that, bring it up to 5.
Yes.
So you're wrapping it up at.
Yes.
Okay.
That's how you build discipline. That's how you build skill. Because you realize certain things about your own body as you're going through those minutes. And those things that you realize you can file away, and next time you do it, it'll be a little easier. So if you're counting your breaths, you might want to start at 25 breaths, and then next week go to 30 breaths or 40 breaths, and go up at 10 breaths per week. That might be a good way to do that. And that way you're not worried about minutes at all. You don't have to watch your clock at all. You just count your breaths. And that makes it a lot easier and also simple and contained. You don't have to break your concentration. Where's the watch? Or where's the clock? Where's the TV or whatever? No, none of that stuff. You just count your breaths. Hit the 200 breaths. You've accomplished something. You're close to 20 minutes. If you want to check your watch after you got there, then fine. If you want to go beyond that, you want to go a little bit deeper, then go for 300 breaths.
So it's when you're breathing in and out in those breaths.
Yes.
Okay.
Inhale, exhale, 1. Inhale, exhale, 2. And you want to do that on a 4 count. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. That basically.
Okay.
These are good questions. This is what I'm looking for. The Tai Chi form takes about 4.5 minutes to complete. The short form, which I'm hoping to teach you in the next 2 weeks, should take about 2.5 minutes to do. And that's an accomplishment right there. The short form is the first 6 steps in the form. So it's parting horses. It's grasp sparrow's tail one way, and you can grasp sparrow's tail the other way, and then close. And that is 6 steps into the form. And that is usually taught in a 4-week or 4-session type of deal. We're going 6 to 8 weeks here. The last class is October 29th. So we're hoping to get it to there at that point in time. Then if you decide to quit and you want to walk out of the class at that point, you have something that is tangible. That's the short form of the Tai Chi short form. It's a shorter version of it, and it has a lot of the benefits that you can use in the longer short form or the long form, but that gives you a snapshot of it, and it's an achievement right there. Many people stay right there and they get comfortable with that for a while, and then a few months later, a few weeks later, they start and they expand on that with a larger class.
My last class is next week.
No.
You said October
No,
20th.
All right, so you got handouts, all right? I got a t-shirt. 29, is that his name?
Yeah.
Last one, yeah. That's what it says on the bulletin board out there, so I guess it's 6 weeks.
And now we're gonna keep going then? or-
I'm gonna keep on going right around the calendar.
Okay,
I'm here currently, I started teaching here, last year in October, I believe, with G Kung class. And it wasn't until just recently that I started the Tai Chi class here. I have 2 Tai Chi classes over in Orleans, plus a G Kung class over there, so I got a total of 5 different classes. And they all started at different times, and they all ended at different times. So I got some handouts there, if you're not familiar with them, grab them. There's one on Yang Shing there that's brand new, but the others may be old. But if you want